a 50 rand note.
Why is he hiccuping?
Because he got some peri-peri sauce stuck in his throat. So he got a hiccup. Pink? Mr. Hare held up the note, puzzled. And what happened to Mr. Buffalo? But here's Mr. Lion to tell me I need to read to survive in the city. Ah, he turned it around. But at least Mr. Mandela is still here.
Oh, zero. I was very pleased.
Mr. Hare saw
I don't know
people
whether I
standing
bought
in
it
a
though.
taxi queue.
I bought quite a few there.
Behind
Maybe I
them,
didn't.
at the taxi
Yeah, I
shelter,
should have.
was a picture of Mr. Mandela. Ah, Mr. Hare said they must all be going to visit Mr. Mandela too. He joined the queue, and when the taxi came, he got in. Where does Mr. Mandela live? He asked the driver. At the end of the long walk to freedom, my friend, he said with a friendly smile. I'll take you there. They rode for half an hour, past a school, street hawkers, down a highway, past a church, through a suburb. Finally, the driver stopped at the taxi rank. Your stop, my friend, said the driver. Just walk up this road until you get to a big house with a big gate with a guard outside the gate. That will be 30 rand. And he took the 50 rand out of Mr. Hare's paw. Mr. Hare was about to protest when... Your change, sir? The driver shoved a note in his paw. Mr. Hare looked at the new note. Again, it was different from the last one.
Story.
Yeah, such a cool story.
Instead of Mrs. Lion, it was Mr. Elephant who stared out at him. But when he turned it around, there was Mr. Mandela still smiling.
Yeah.
The culture of the country.
Mr. Hare
And also to
smiled
encourage
back
people to
and
go to
began
school.
to hop up the long road.
I like that because I have been trying to learn the different currency of the country.
On
so
his
this one
way,
makes it very nice.
he passed a bakery. He stopped, sniffed the air. What was that lovely smell? He pressed his face flat against the bakery window and gazed at donuts, pancakes, pies, tarts, fruitcake, biscuits. Mr. Hare hopped into the shop. Can I help you, sir? Said a lady behind the counter. I'd like one of these, he said, pointing to the donuts. No, one of those. He showed her a slice of milk tart.
Milk tart, hey.
It's the milk tart. That's what I was telling him too. The milk tart.
But he
Then
didn't want to taste it.
a wedge of chocolate cake, a biscuit, apple
I'm
crumble,
glad I have.
a
So
white
it's like
sister.
a regular
Pizza.
thing you eat here.
You have to make up your mind. Mr. Hare finally pointed to a Chelsea bun. The lady smiled. Good choice. She slipped the Chelsea bun into a packet and handed it to him. The next thing he knew, Mr. Mandela's brown note was in her hands. And when she put it back in his paw, it was green. And who do you think had taken the place of Mr. Elephant? There was Mr. Rhino warning him about the city of readers. Mr. Hare skipped out the shop, taking big bites out of his Chelsea bun and wondering, how many times will Mr. Mandela's note change colour before I meet him? Then he saw the guard at the big gate. He skipped up to the guard, greeted him and asked, Does Mr. Mandela live here? Yes, he does. I'm Mr. Hare of the African bush. I have an important note for him. The guard said, Do you have an appointment? No, said Mr. Hare. I able to read one word. And with that said, the sun set, and all the animals went back to their homes for a good night's rest. The next morning, Mr. Hare was awakened by a thud on his doorstep. What was that? He wondered. Maybe it's the angry stomp of Mrs. Elephant coming to argue with me. He peeped outside. Mrs. Elephant wasn't there, but there was a big envelope on his bed. He went out and he looked around to see who had brought it. There was no one in sight. Mr. Hare opened the envelope. It was a letter. Dear Mr. Hare, the whole country is still talking about your visit. Thank you for telling me all those stories and for returning the 10 Rand note. I have enclosed a 200 Rand note for you to spend the next time you visit the city. Warm regards, Nelson Mandela. Because he could not read, Mr. Hare was not interested in the letter, but something fell out of the envelope and fluttered onto the mat. Mr. Hare looked down at the 200 Rand note. He could not believe his eyes. I don't believe it, he cried. The very same place as yesterday morning. Without wasting time, he called another meeting of all the animals. My friends, he announced, it's a great mystery. The note has returned. He waved it all around for all to see. And I have to journey back to Mr. Mandela to return it to him.